name of the show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. Tonight's guest is one of the stars of Scriptless, as well as countless other films, Mr. Jim Fulater. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Alan.
So it's great to have you back.
Thank you very much
It
for having me.
seems like such a long time since you've been on the show.
Yeah.
So,
it's always great to be here and chat with you for a while.
Oh, it's great, and it's great to collaborate with you. It's great to have you here, and it's great. I'm happy that we were able to collaborate on hopefully more projects, but on Scriptless. That's really great.
Yeah, that's been it's been really fun. What I went in with the notion of what I was going to do and where we were going to go with it has expanded so much, which has really got me very excited about it, and I can't wait to see, you know, how we go in the future.
Right. Well, I'll just list some of the things you're doing. You're directing, you're producing, you're acting, you're helping, you're writing. I mean, every aspect, and editing. Editing. How can I leave that one out? So, I mean, you've become like the perfect collaborator, and I really appreciate it. But that wasn't. I mean, you didn't just start on Scriptless. I mean, you have like a history behind you, and if you know, I'd like to to share with the audience.
Sure.
You know how you got how you got started and who your influences were, et cetera. So if you want to,
great,
you could do the monologue. Okay?
Great. I started out when I was 12, helping my brother in some high school plays, and I realized that I had a hunger for it, and got very excited. He got a couple of the secondary lead roles in some plays, and I would read opposite him, you know, the lead role, and I would try to add as much and act and really get into it. And then when I realized what I wanted to do, I was 12. I said, I want to be something that I could be anything I want when I change my mind. Right. And that was an actor. I realized, you know, being an actor, you could be anything in the world. And I started out in junior high school and helped form a acting group after school. And then from there, we went into some community theater and worked with that. And I did that throughout my high school. That was really my vocational school alongside of high school, was working community theater. And then I went to a very good theater college in Buffalo, New York, Buffalo State College, and worked with some great professors, Terry McDonald and Donald Savage, Warren Enters, and really got to learn what it's like, not only the theory, but in practice, some more. And actually, I had the practice. I needed the theory. It's not all about, ooh, isn't this fun putting on a play? What's the work behind it? What's the technical stuff that you need to be doing to be better? And then from there, I really started out, got an agent immediately after college.
That's great.
It was a local agent, and you know, you're always struggling. I found, you know, in a city outside of New York, the work is dependent on you. And so if I'm calling, I learned the network of people that I had to talk to. And so I would make my rounds of calling. And when I did, I would talk to casting people or voiceover guys, studios. And when I did, I would get work. And then I wouldn't call so much because I was getting work, and then the calls would trail off. So you had to cycle it back. You know, and then I started taking, you know, as time went on, I started taking acting classes outside of, you know, college, and that you still have to continue your education.
Right. So, but it sounds like you, like anything that people are strong in, you have a foundation, and you really built a solid foundation.
Yeah.
I mean, from day one. I mean, I mean, I got into acting later in life, like in my 20s, but you know, it must be something to know what you want to do when you're so young. I really didn't know what I wanted to do when I was that young.
That's the funny thing is for me, that was so the norm. I was always surprised when I talked to friends of mine who didn't know what they wanted to do. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what you want to do?
Right.
I know what I want to do. But the difference is it's not like I wanted to be, you know, a mechanic or a plumber or something. This was, ooh, the dream. Right. You know, my dad and mom were very blue collar. And my dad used to tell me, oh, you're not going to set the world on fire. No, but I'm going to be successful because I want to be and I can be. And that was something, they instilled the work ethic in me, but still, you know, allowing me to dream and to do that. And part of that, the allowing, is I had to fight for it. I had to fight for it with them at home all the time growing up as a teenager, that this is what I wanted to do.
But I even see you, like, even when you're editing and things, you're so into it. You're into making the story, whether you're acting or you're piecing together a story as the editor, you're really into the whole creative aspect and the whole artistic aspect of it. I mean, that's how I see it.
Yeah, yeah. I always say, for an artist, it's part of your DNA. It's part of who you are. The way I tell a story, whether it be in editing or in a story that I'm creating or anything as an actor, that all, it just comes from who I am, and that's the passion that drives you. I can't not do this.
And even in your editing, that, you know, I've watched you edit some of Scriptless at this point. You could see the Fulater touch. You know, I mean, there's a signature. You know, and also in your acting. I mean, I enjoy watching you act and directing you in acting as well. It's because you play your part, and your part is Detective Kazak, but you play the part with so much joy in it. You know, I mean, like, even when you're being obnoxious or being sarcastic, it comes out with there's a certain, like, you're really enjoying doing it, you know?
Oh, yeah,
and that, it's great. It's really great to watch, and it's fun to watch, you know?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, the joy that you actually get to do what you are passionate about, that you feel like it's who you are. I always say it's like harmonics. When I get to act, things are in tune. That's when life, you know, lines up for me.
And those times when it happens, and it's happened only, I mean, maybe it happened a few times on Scriptless, but it's happened other times in my acting career where you're like at once, when everything, at one with everything, and it's like, all of a sudden you've realized, wow, that was like a real moment. I mean, those things are few and far between, but it's such a wonderful feeling.
Oh yeah, it's great. And that's the kind of the drug that you live for. You want to get back to that and be in that moment.
That zone. Like,
yeah. I used to do plays when I was a kid, and when I was on stage, things were easy. The rest of the life was hard. Homework and this and problems with, you know, you get in an argument with somebody. No. Let me go back to the stage because I know where I'm at and I feel natural and comfortable and relaxed, you know, there.
And when and like as a director, which I'm first time directing with Scriptless, I mean, when I watch you even enter this, I mean, you're always thinking even like backstory. It's not just the story itself. Like, I'm entering the scene, even if I don't give the, you know, like maybe it's, you know, the input that you give in all aspects adds a creative touch and an artistic touch to the show. I mean, there's no question. I mean, not just adds. It's part of the creative and artistic touch. Sure.
One of the teachers that I've studied in New York, Tom Todoroff. Great teacher.
I know who he is. I actually sat in on his, he had like one of these sessions where you can come in and watch him.
Yeah.
If I could just say, the thing I sat in on was his monologue class. And I hate to steal the thunder. No, go ahead. And he came on stage. He had volunteers raise their hand, they go on stage and they do their monologue. And then he just rips them apart, just gets them, and then he says to do them. At the end, the monologue is like 10 times better, and it was like done in like 15 minutes. He got people from going from here to here with. He was amazing, and he's been he was a teacher for many different high-level Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
He was your teacher?
Yeah. He's originally a Buffalo guy.
Oh, I did not know that.
And I didn't know that. I met him in a workshop in Toronto. Took a couple workshops up there with him, and then when I moved to New York, I looked him up and I came to his class.
Wow.
And he's great. But one of the things he really talks about is the moment before. Where are you coming from? Life doesn't just happen now.
Right.
Where were you coming from? And if you have that as an actor, that colors the scene as you walk in.
You're right.
You know, and so that I try to take what I was taught.
And you did. I mean, you have. And I'm appreciative of it. And Scriptless is appreciative. I mean, the story is. Because that to you is always, the other thing that you talk about is the story. You know?
Oh, yeah.
You know, where is this going? What is this about? You know?
Right. And, as an actor, you want it to lead somewhere,
Right.
but also as an editor,
Right.
Or as a director, you want it to go somewhere. But then finally, as an editor, when you sit down, oh my God, how are we going to, lead this to the direction we want it to?
And when you find out that there's actually stuff in the can, that actual footage. I mean, with episode 2, when you saw that, I mean, how good did you feel?
Oh, it's great.
I know.
It's great. It's
You're
such
saying, wait a second, this goes here, like this,
Yeah.
and this scene goes there. It was like, wow, I totally forgot about those scenes.
And that becomes part of your vision.
Right.
It's what you intended when you created the story. It's
Right.
what the actors intended when they did their part.
Right.
But then it's can I piece it together with your help, because I'm not alone in that.
Right. And that's the best part, is the collaboration. I mean, I told you at first I didn't know if I could do it, because it's time consuming for both of us.
Right.
But at the same time, it's a marvel to watch, and then you actually see it's like the birth of a baby. It's like you're seeing this whole thing being created right before by you. Right in front of your eyes, and it's like, whoa, like let's take pictures of the screen and put it on Facebook.
Yeah, it's exciting to watch. It's exciting to be a part of.
Right.
It's satisfying.
Right.
That's the thing is, when we were adding the music
Right.
to the scene, and I had
that
the
really
vision,
helped. That was great. Your vision was great. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
of where I wanted it to go, and I was like, oh. And then to be able to do that,
Right.
and then sit there and go, that's the perfect one.
We're talking too much about Scriptless, though. I mean, you've done other projects, right?
Yeah. I've been leads in movies. It seems I get these great projects to come along,
Right.
and then you learn lessons all along about the business aspect.
Right.
I've been in great projects that never get distribution,
Right.
which is totally out of your hands as an artist. And what happens after that?
I'd like to, if you don't mind, I'd like to share some of you brought a clip in today, correct?
Sure.
So talking about some famous people that you're in, you'll see at least one in this one, right?
Yeah.
So I'd like to share Jim Fulater's. It's a reel, right?
Yeah, it's a demo reel.
It's a demo reel, and I hope you enjoy it.
Do you guys get it on outside of work?
Only when we're really, really horny.
All right, how's everything else going?
Good, just a little tired. How about you?
I'm all right, I got some rest.
Yeah?
It's gonna be a long day.
Yeah.
You didn't save my life. I loved my life in Chicago. I hate it here. Yeah, I have a pulse. But my life in Chicago is gone. You don't have to open up a man's chest or splatter his brains all over the wall to kill a guy.
Yeah, I'm fine. Listen, she's leaving the house. She's going to meet the child's father. They'll never leave.
Awesome. That was great. I really enjoyed it. That was fantastic. I'm so happy that, we're working together. I really am.
Me too.
It's a pleasure to have you working and to see such wonderful things in your reel, and I know there's much more that you've done and what much more you're going to do. It's really great to have a true artist working on the show.
Thanks. You know what? I can't thank you enough. I really enjoy the opportunity to do what we're doing.
Right.
That's something that, as an artist, you always want to. You can be an artist all you want if you don't have something to work. If you don't have a canvas to paint on, what good is it?
And we have to thank, Dina and Matt and Brian and all the people that work, behind the scenes and who help us from LMC TV, LMC TV. Really, and I really appreciate. I mean, they're making my dreams come true, and also, then that makes other people's dreams come true also. So thank you all. So I know that's corny, but it's true.
No, it's good.
I mean, I can't remember my life in a way prior to 2010 when I started acting, but now even with the shows and since 2012, I mean, these shows, The Way to Go and now Scriptless, have become like what I do, how I live. I mean, I work and then I live doing these shows. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
I mean, you probably have those kind of similar experiences.
Oh, absolutely. I always found, again, even when I was doing projects, it's, the drudgery of getting up in the morning and the alarm going off and snoozing. But when you have something that excites you, that gets you motivated, anytime I had a film shoot, the alarm would warm up to chirp, and I'm out of bed running. Right. Because that's what you live for. That's what, we really want to do as an artist.
And we're all the same like that. I mean, I at least the people, I mean, I'm the same way. I'll tell you, I was exhausted all week, but I'm going to be shooting something tomorrow. So I know tomorrow morning, even though I'm exhausted, I worked hard, we're doing the show tonight and all this stuff, I know tomorrow I'm going to be raring to go, and it's that adrenaline rush, that the feeling that, you're going to be doing what you love to do. There's nothing like it, right?
Yeah. That's actually it's good that you said that. That's the one thing that I love about the community of whether it be on a film or a TV set or a play, is that it's one of the only places in life that everybody's really pulling for the same thing. Right. You go to your 9-to-5 job, you go to a factory, you go to whatever, everyone's going, I'm here because of paycheck, I'm here because I have to be. On a film set or on a TV show, everybody wants this to succeed. It's like you're in your own little goodwill bubble,
right.
And that everybody's excited and pulling for the same thing. And if you find someone that isn't, right. If they're mailing it in, you'd feel that. And that would be the one person that was like that.
But I will say, on Cagney and Lacey, every now and then the two leads used to,
well, then you knew it though.
Everyone knew.
Yeah, you could feel it.
But the other thing is, even though you felt it, there were such good actors that they were able to, you couldn't see it on the screen.
Right.
But after when they said cut, then it was like, okay, one goes the other way, they're smoking a cigarette, blah, 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 So it was interesting,
Yeah.
And life is good. So I'm looking forward to future projects. I mean, it's really, I'm thinking about, right now there's the Laundryman, which I'm thinking of doing the feature, mm-hmm. which LMC was so nice enough to give the green light to it. Unfortunately, we got the script, they just haven't pushed it. But I mean, eventually, I could see us doing other projects
mm-hmm.
together, and both scripted and scriptless.
Yeah,
right?
I have a project that I've been ruminating on for about 25 years. It's a serial killer love story.
Oh, I love it. That
I would like to do. It's something that is still current and touches on the headlines. It didn't when I first came up with the idea, but I then found out that people were actually doing it. It takes it adds a little bit of euthanasia in it. But it also brings in a love story, which I thought was really a unique look at it.
I mean, maybe one day things like maybe having a show that just does shorts, and sure. And that could be things that, I mean, I was thinking about that too, short films, mm-hmm. I guess scriptless is more of like a series, like a soap opera, but more like, and I was thinking before I was going to go into season 2 in the direction that we're going, which I don't want to reveal at this point, but I was thinking about having like individual plays, screenplays, or at least whether there were screenplays or there were scriptless individual plays with different storylines for each one. But I think the direction we're going in is going to work. I think a lot. It's going to be better in terms of for consistency and a lot easier too.
Yeah. When you start getting in different stories, that obviously is great, but it brings in different elements that you then have to worry about.
But one thing I think we both agree on is that we have a core of actors that we're working with right now, and thank God we have them. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's going to be exciting bringing people in, and we're going to have that meeting with people where those people who are part of the core are going to help elevate everybody else in the show. And that was your idea. I thought that was an excellent idea. Yeah,
I think it's really important to keep that community aspect in, especially because scriptless is such an interesting concept of bringing in people, even for short periods of time. Right. You're bringing in a lot of extras, as you will, or minor roles. You really need to make sure the core is tight and knows what their job is.
And the people that we have as a core, I know, are going to be very appreciative the people that aren't in the car are going to be, it's like, uh-oh, that's showbiz. See, that's the toughest thing about showbiz, I think, is like, you know, you have, let's say, 8 parts in this 15 people that have been very good actors in the show. And eventually, you know, 8 can't become 15. Right. That's just the way it is, you know. Right. So,
well, this is why now you understand, as you've auditioned and got roles and you end up on the cutting room floor, and why that happens, and you feel crushed as an actor. Well, now you know the other side of that, that sometimes those things just have to happen. Right,
and it's tough, though. It's tough on both sides, you know, because especially with, you know, in our situation, you know, it's people volunteering their time. They're part of a community, but they're a part of, and it's funny, though, how much they, I mean, even Scriptless version 1 was, I mean, everyone wanted to come back every week or every month or whatever it was when we were shooting. And that's very, it's such a great feeling, you know,
well, that also says a lot about what you're bringing to the table.
I think everyone's bringing.
I know, but you set the tone for it in, you know, what's expected. You make it a joy to be around, to work.
Oh, thank you.
And you know, and make it easy to do what we need to do.
Right, and we have, I mean, again, going back with Matt and with Lou Simons, I mean, the crew is, I mean, it's like, it's one big, it's silly, it sounds like it, but it's like a happy family. Sure. You know? And sometimes we're not dealing with happy facts, but it's, but, you know, but it's just, it is a joy. It's like, every time I'm on the set, it's like, it's a vacation for me. Even though we could work long hours, we do eight, you know, driving into the city, whatever it is. It takes like all day, whatever, but I think it's just a pleasure, you know, and and then when it's over, then I start realizing it's like Sunday night when you're a kid and school's the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So, what would you like to do? I mean, if you were looking to expand what you're doing for Scriptless right now, I mean, I'm hoping that, you know, I want you to direct my scenes. You know, I've asked you to help me with the, you know, to be like co-writing of this stuff. I'm excited about it. You know?
Yeah, and you know what? It's the idea of actually getting, since you and I are on the same page of where we want to go with it. Right. Now it's about seeing what happens and seeing if an idea that I have, if it gels with what, you know, you want to do and where we want to go, and play around with that, expand or challenge ourselves creatively as much as we can.
I like that, and the whole community theater aspect of it I liked. You know, even when I was in Hollywood, there was something called Theater West, and it was a bunch of screen actors that started off as stage actors, and they all came together and they just did it. You know, and you know, these guys were stars, and they were taking tickets. You know, people were at the concession stand, whatever. It was their theater, and I mean, that's not the same thing. I mean, in a way it is, but in a way I want everyone to feel like they're a part of this thing. And,
well, sure.
You know, what the hell?
Everybody's got something at stake, yeah.
That's it. And I liked episode 2. I liked you put together an episode that was very difficult to put together. Yeah. You put it together nicely.
Well, episode 3, 4, on through 10 is going to be better.
And I'll tell you, you know, some of our actors who aren't in the end, but like again, like Greg, and all that, and Noah. I can't wait to see them on screen. You know, and but I did a spoiler just then. But it's exciting, and you know, who knows who we'll see in season 2. You never know, right?
Right.
That's it.
That's the joy of Scriptless, because you know. Nothing is written, so you're never sure where you want it to go. It's open.
But I think the most important thing is the communication between the actors. So in other words, even no matter what's happening, as long as it's interesting, a conversation or whatever it is, or where we're leading, and obviously story is important. But I think the thing that you helped with and we did together is like really. Is getting the right people who know how to communicate with each other. You know what I mean? I think that's key, and who are willing to listen as well as to talk.
Right. Well, that's obviously the other half of communicating is and you know, obviously in improv that's so important, is to listen to know, you know, where the other person is, and also listening to help to see if they need help in direction, or
absolutely,
you know, maybe they need a nudge to where to go. Maybe they're floundering a little bit, and you can just, you know, interject something and bring them back on
Exactly.
point.
And also, if I may, the idea that people know that they're part of a core group, they don't have to worry about getting the next line in because they know they're going to be in the next scene. You know, there's a security in that, knowing that you're part of that core. That you know, you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
You're there. You're already there.
Right.
You don't have to worry about it.
Right. Then you don't have to act like this is your last episode.
Right.
You can act like you know you're part of an arc.
And it's an ongoing part too, so you could actually, you know, you could change. Your character can grow. You can, you know, in any direction that the story's going in.
Right. Right. And that's ultimately what we're all looking for.
Right. And
especially being part of the creative team. You want to make sure that the people aren't trying to say, "Ooh, look at me, look at me." Right. That it's all.
And that goes back to your expression versus impression, which I think is a classic line.
Yeah. Well, that's a Tom Todoroff.
Oh, that was Tom?
That's a Tom Todoroff.
See,
it says you want to act to express rather than impress.
You know, I won one award, and it was Best Supporting Actor, even though I was the actual actor. Like the lead, the whole story was about me in a short.
Right.
But for whatever reason, the way they cut it, I had less time than one other actor, so I had to get the supporting. But the show was about my character. And there was an actress who played on that show that was Tom Todoroff's assistant. So that's how I got to go to that class.
Oh, all right.
So, and I was blown away. I mean, to this day, that was one of the most important things. And the day after that, I had an audition, and I got the part because he kept on saying, don't, as the person was doing the monologue, one person was like backing, it wasn't maintaining or going forward. He said, always go forward. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't have to scream it, but just make sure that, you know, you're going in, you know, you're projecting. You're not going to, you know, this is the one shot that you have for that part. Don't be a mouse, you know, be the best person you could, you know, he was like, and I was listening to this, and even though I put my name down to do one of the monologues, I didn't get it. I walked out of there knowing what I had to do, and the next day I got my part. Just listening to what this guy said.
He's awesome. I actually, one of the guest speakers that he had, or guest teachers, was Austin Pendleton. Austin Pendleton worked with Orson Welles in the 70s.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's been in so much. He's been in A Simple Mind.
Oh, I love that.
He's been in a ton of movies. Right. You'd know him if you saw him. Right. I never heard of his name before until I looked him up. And he was incredible to work with. He's a man in his late 70s, I think early to late 70s. Right. And the wealth of knowledge that Tom is able to bring in was just really impressive. And then you, of course, I was, you know, really excited about bringing a monologue in front of Austin just to see what kind of take he had on it, and got some great feedback. So it's, you know, that's the thing about acting, is you're always learning, you're always trying to expand what you do, and you know, be better.
And even at that class, you know, it was just amazing to see people come up to the stage and just watch it. And you know, you're analyzing it as he's analyzing it, but he's analyzing it a little bit differently, and he gets the best performance out. I love it. I mean, I love every aspect of acting. Mm-hmm. You know, even watching it. You know what I mean? It's like because you do learn. You know, if you want to.
Yeah, and if you watch good acting, it draws you in. You feel emotionally a part of it, emotionally attached. And that's the human experience that we're all looking for.
But the human experience that we're not all looking for is when you come to the end of a wonderful show. So I'd like to thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And of course, there's just one thing left to say. That's a wrap. Good night, folks.